Hello and welcome to Sharing Jewish Wisdom.
Hello and welcome back to Sharing Jewish Wisdom. Now, in our last presentation, Reb Shlomo gave us a great insight into the Shabbos candles. So what have we got to look forward to this week?
Thank you, Mark. Nice to see you. And I know we haven't been around lately. I hope you enjoyed the Caribbean cruise you went on. And you look pretty well and tanned. That's good. Okay, well, this week we have a special event in the calendar. On the 15th of Shevat, which is going to be Thursday of this week, we have the New Year for Trees, Rosh Hashanah Le'ilonos. Some people call it Chamisha Osir B'Shvat, the 15th of Shvat. Some people abbreviate it to Tu B'Shvat, but it's the same thing, whatever you call it. It's the New Year for Trees. Now, you may say, well, what's so big about a tree? And before we get involved, let's clear off the jokes. We're not starting a new branch. He's not sapping my energy. He hasn't given me the pip. And he's twigged what I'm going to talk about. Have you got any more?
No, I haven't.
Okay, fine. And viewers who are thinking, have they gone completely off their heads, just leaf it out for the moment. Good. Nice to see you all.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this event in the course of the year because it has a significance. Remember, if you will, ladies and gentlemen, and others, that our history is very much rooted, I had to get that in, or
Here we go.
in an agricultural economy. And therefore trees were a very significant factor, and particularly fruit trees. And even now, fruit is a very important element in our lives. And any medics looking in will tell you that having your 5 a day and all that sort of thing is very good for you. Now, this is not a medical scenario, so I'm afraid it might lose its appeal. So let's go back to our this is not a comedy show, by the way. If it turns out that way, it's his fault, not mine. I'm the straight man. Let's go back to our source material, and we'll have a mention of the Talmudical tractate Rosh Hashanah, page 2a, for those who want to go and have a look at it. And there it makes a mention of this special occasion of the New Year for Trees. It talks about the different Rosh Hashanahs in the year. Of course, we have the New Year for man on the 1st of Tishrei. I should say mankind, to be correct, on the 1st of Tishrei, and various other occasions. But this one for trees has its own special significance. So let's look for a minute at a comparison between trees and humankind.
I was going to ask that, yeah.
Right, okay. So a tree grows from a seed. A human grows from an embryo. The tree matures. The human performs mitzvahs and learns Torah. See the parallels coming out here? And just as a tree bears fruit, so humanity reproduces its next generation and so on from there. So there is very much a comparison to be drawn between the tree and the human. And of course, some of you will be well aware that where a little boy is concerned, it's the custom not to cut his hair until he's 3 years old, because the fruit of a tree was not taken and consumed until the tree was 3 years old.
Interesting.
There you are. Okay. However, there has to be a however or a but, depending on which way you want to look at it. What happens if you remove the sauce?
Is that the apple sauce or just a normal sauce?
Oh, very good. Okay. It's the chutzpah sauce. The sauce. Now, if you take the tree from the earth, what happens with the tree?
It will die.
It will die, exactly. What happens if you take the Jew away from Torah and mitzvahs? The Jew is not really a Jew anymore and has no great life.
Sustenance, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And excellent word, sustenance. Good. Too many letters for me to spell it, but it sounds good. I think he swallowed the dictionary.
Fewer behind us. That's
Well,
right.
exactly. No shortage of books in your library. Still very impressive. And thus, the Jew needs to be attached to the source in the way that the tree needs to be attached to the earth. That's how it all works.
So what does Tu B'Shvat signify?
Oh, well, you're ahead of me. I was about to go on with that. Thank you very much. How do we mark the event? First of all, let's remember it's not actually a Yontif. It's not mentioned in the Torah like Pesach and Shavuos and all that sort of thing. No, it's not like that at all. But it has its significance, and there's no musaf, additional prayer in the davening on that day, or any Torah reading that we have associated with the day. However, one of our principal commentators, the Mogen Avram, who was Rabbi Avraham Gombiner, writes in the Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, I should tell you, he lived 1635 to 1682, for those who like detailed information. He writes that it is very much a custom observed amongst Klal Yisrael, because it's around that time that the sap starts to rise in the trees and the buds start to appear in the spring and around that time. Now, of course, remember, we're not talking northwest London or even southwest London. We are talking Eretz Yisrael. But it's important to focus on these things because they are significant events.
And do they do anything special in Israel for the event?
It's very much very much observed there, and trees are planted, and it really is something very
special.
significant in the year. So what do? Well, we eat fruit. No big surprise there. But then you'll say, well, any fruit? And we start with what's called the Shevat minim, the 7 species. And you'll say, ooh, what are they? And I'll say, well, if you look in Devarim, in Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 8, it sets out exactly what they are. And they are set out for you there. There's the olive and the pomegranate and all those familiar bits and pieces. Of course, the object of the exercise is to try and eat 15 fruits.
Right.
What it may do to your guts, I wouldn't like to say, but you don't have to eat the whole fruit. You can share it out with the family. And again, it's very much a family thing to sit down and have a fruit platter and enjoy that. So that's where that is. The timing of the event is interesting because it is the onset of spring, the rebirth of the new agricultural year, if you want to put it that way. Now let's compare that with the date, 15th of Shevat, the high point of the month, with the moon, because the moon is at its zenith around that time, full moon. Right. And then we can compare it with the Jewish people. Why? Because just like the moon waxes and wanes, and when it wanes, it appears to disappear at the end of a cycle, and then it reappears, it's the same with the Jewish people. Whenever we've been oppressed and exiled and so on and so forth, lo and behold, back we come again. So there's that connection that inevitably exists between the resurgence of the new growing year, eating the fruit, and of course us as coming back yet again to fight on.
Growing as a people.
Growing as a people, indeed. I hope you're not being personal here. But there we are, that's before I've eaten the fruit. So that's the story, ladies and gentlemen. And I do hope you'll participate on Thursday at some stage, or you can do it Wednesday night after dark, because that counts as Thursday. and that you'll thoroughly enjoy it. Some people I know make a huge fruit salad, which is absolutely fine. If you are thinking of doing that, please let me know and I'll come around and share it with you. And before you ask me what we're going to do next week, next week, the Sedra of the week is Parshas Yisro, and it contains the Decalogue.
Oh, that's a big word.
Isn't it?
Never heard of it before.
The Decalogue. It's it's what people call the Ten Commandments, which is an inaccurate translation. And of course, living now in an era of inclusivity and diversity, you mustn't tell what people what to do. You can't give them commandments. You can make suggestions. So we're going to look at it in a bit more serious manner next time at the significance of the Ten Commandments and what they mean for us in the 21st century. And I hope you'll all be joining in. In the meantime, likes, subscribe, and if there's anything you'd like to see us talk about, then please do make a comment and we'll see if we can accord to your requests. Thanks ever so much for looking in. Have a beautiful Tu B'Shvat. Have a good Shabbos. Keep warm, keep safe, and keep well.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting.
If a little fruity.
Good. So as Rab Shlomo said, we've got the Sedra coming up next week, and we're into the Sedra of Shemot, and we've compiled a book, which I'm going to leave a link in the description below, and I'm also going to put a link in the description for our presentation on the Shabbat candles, which has gone very well. And as Rab Shlomo said, we're going to love you and leave you, and we wish you all a good Shabbos, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel for some great content.